Welcome to another episode of Red Carpet Living with Jen. My name is Jennifer Mercado, Palm Beach-based realtor. And today I wanted to share with you some of the reasons why I decided to stay, live, work, and play in West Palm Beach in Palm Beach County. So if you are new here, hello and welcome. You might not know that I'm originally from New York. Now, for those of you who have been here for some time, I know that you've heard my stories about where I used to live, where I've come from, and what that transition has been like for me coming from New York to Florida. So at this point, we've now lived in Florida for 8 years. And one of the many reasons actually that we had decided to live and move and play essentially in West Palm Beach is because of the diversity. So coming from Queens, New York, which I think back in like 98 or early 2000s had ranked as like the most diverse city in the United States. We have a lot of everything, right? There were all different ethnicities. There were all different backgrounds. And I really enjoyed that growing up as a kid because it taught me about other cultures aside from my own. It taught me how even though we're different, there are a lot of underlying similarities in cultures that I wouldn't have known otherwise if I didn't have that experience of going to school with children from different backgrounds, different religions, different creeds, different everything. So when we initially were thinking of moving down to Florida, because we know that there is a big northern population, we had an idea that there might be a lot of benefits to coming down here and to having other people who have migrated the same way that we did. But I was very pleasantly surprised with West Palm Beach in particular with how diverse it is. Not that I need to go to a bodega that's like on the corner for, open for 24 hours, but it does lend itself that you have the potential to go somewhere that's open 24 hours a day or to find different foods if you're looking for, which I definitely was, especially moving down here. So there wasn't really anything that I felt was out of reach, and having that convenience and having that accessibility, really looking at all the different things that I wanted to retain from my New York lifestyle here in Florida, I was able to do so because of that diversity and because of that eclectic background that's here. So in addition to food, you're also going to find different types of just common hobby shops, right? So not just things that are related to food, which again are my personal favorite, but if you wanted to indulge in another community, you have that access here. The other reason that we chose and eventually decided on West Palm Beach was really the central location to everything that is convenient for me and my husband and for our family, namely the airport. Because I moved down from New York, the first few years, I was traveling back home a lot. I didn't have my mom with me. I didn't have my close siblings with me. So I was homesick for, I think, like the first 2 years. And then everybody moved out after, which was fun. I'm still trying to convince my other sister. So I know you're watching this, just saying, whenever you're ready to come down, a realtor. So having that close proximity to the airport was very important. I was making a lot of trips back home and being able to feel comfortable, like at any time of the day, I was within less than 30 minutes of the airport so I can finish my day at work, whatever it was that I was doing, jump on a plane and be home in no time was really important to me. So we are centrally located next to the airport, centrally located next to two major roadways, which is the 95, which also takes you directly to New York. And I know that because I've driven it, and also the Turnpike, which is a western-more road, but it does link North and South Florida to alleviate some congestion of the 95. So having the airport, the 95, local major shopping centers, the mall, being close to downtown when we wanted to have, a night out, drinks, maybe go visit the Improv Center, anything that we wanted to do to just keep ourselves entertained and to really get to know the community that we were living in, I was able to do so in like a maybe 10-mile radius from where we were living in West Palm Beach. So those were some of the reasons that were really important for us to have that. The other thing, which I think is not something that's really spoken about, considering most of Florida is transient, is that West Palm Beach is not necessarily a very transient community. I was doing marketing outreach with another company, and one of the statistics that they gave me is that the turnaround time for home buyers and sellers to relocate, to sell their home outside of West Palm Beach is about 7 to 8 years. And that gave me hope, because when you're starting a family, you want to have a little bit more of connection and grounding with your community, maybe know your neighbors, which in New York, I didn't really know many. And here in Florida, I can say I'm still in touch even with neighbors of my old community because we've developed that relationship. But really understanding that you're not going to have people in and out. And if you're living in a gated community or with HOA restrictions, it won't be an Airbnb. So there really won't be anybody that's in and out of your community. Understanding that your neighbors are going to be your neighbors for quite some time. Your kids are going to grow up with other kids for some time. Really just lend to a deeper sense of community and a deeper relationship to the area, because you know that people do find value and enjoy living here, as well as giving themselves and their family a stable foundation for what it is that they want to achieve here in Florida. So those were some of the reasons that were really appealing to us. Additionally, like I mentioned before, even though you get space, I think this was my last episode. I talked about like living in an HOA, you get the suburbia feel without too much separation from the city. So in West Palm Beach, you will get more square footage for your price, but without having to sacrifice being close to other civilizations, I like to call, like being around other people. Granted, my neighbors are not living right on top of me. We're not in such close quarters that it feels very congested. I do have that space where, our kids can have their rooms. We can have a backyard. The dogs can run around. But also if we wanted to go somewhere, go to a restaurant, buy something, it's not a 30-minute drive in either direction to find something close by. It's all relatively close in proximity, where I'm home, I'm comfortable, I have the space, but also, I need to go to Walmart, Walgreens, Publix. It's down the road. It's not something that I have to drive for too long to get. So you're not compromising having access to conveniences of modern living for giving up that space, because you're getting both in West Palm Beach. So if any of you are on the fence or are curious as to what else West Palm Beach offers, do not hesitate to reach out. I'd be more than happy to let you guys know what's here, what's available. Like I mentioned, I also have 2 listings at the moment, which I'll also be featuring in another episode, so you guys can take a look. And if you're interested in making the move, call me. I'd love to help you. Thank you again for tuning in. If you haven't already, be sure to subscribe and get the notifications on. If you're listening, thank you very much for listening in. I hope that you all have a wonderful week ahead of you, and I'll see you for the next one.